Hi, hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name's Molly and here is my little corner full of books. Now today's video speaks about my baby, my pride and joy, my absolute favourite thing that I own, my Kindle. I am an avid Kindle girl. Portability is fantastic. The fact that I can take this everywhere with me and have so many books at the palm of my hand. It is compact, it fits in my bag, and I love Kindle Unlimited for the amount of genres, choice and everything that is on there. That being said, I feel like my most asked question all the time on TikTok is what are my top recommendations for Kindle Unlimited books? Well, I tell you, you're in the right place because I'm going to deep dive right into them all today. I have got my trusty laptop at the ready because I have written a hefty list. So get sitting, grab your Kindle, add all these to your TBR. I have got to admit, I have definitely been in my dark romance era lately, so I'm going to start off with those for today. If you guys would like any horrors or thriller recommendations, then let me know and I can do that in a separate video. Honestly, if I did romance and thrillers in one go, then we would be here for a hot minute, and I know we've all got books to read this month. I thought with this video we could start with the light, fluffy romances that we all know and love, then go into my dark romance, but start off with the lighter ones that I would recommend for beginners, and then go to my more advanced, super long trigger warning list books. Now, because I've got the laptop and we have got a hefty list, this is going to be more rapid fire, but I highly recommend you also do some research on the titles that interest you the most. I will leave the covers up here for you as well. For all of my single dad loving trope girlies, Elsie Silver Wild Love is so good. This is the first book in her newest series, which is actually getting its own adaptation. It's going to be an entire series on single dad small town. I am so excited. I love this one. Another adaptation coming soon is actually the Twisted series by Huang, and I loved this one. It has Brother's Best Friend. The fourth one, Twisted Lies, got a little bit darker and I did really enjoy that one. It had a lot more of a mystery element to it. I feel like these are spicy romances that everybody knows and loves, so if you haven't read them already, highly recommend you add them to your TBR. LJ Shen's My Dark Prince Road series is so good. I loved My Dark Romeo, but when I read My Dark Desire, I genuinely loved that book so much I could not recommend it more if I tried, and I've got My Dark Prince on my TBR already, and they're all on Kindle Limited, so I recommend that one. They have like a darker spin-off on fairy tales as well, and I feel like they're so well done. Now, of course, I'm going to obviously bring Tracy Lorraine into the mix. It'd be silly of me not to. The Rosewood High series is so good. It's your enemies to lovers, high school bully romances. They get darker as they go along, but I feel like these are perfect beginners for dark romance as well. Highly recommend these. All the tropes you can think of. Chef's kiss. Takeover by T L Swann is actually the second book in a series that I read. I really enjoyed the stopover, but the takeover genuinely gave me all the trauma and all the emotional feels. This book took me on a roller coaster, but I loved it so much. It also made me laugh in places. And again, single parent trope, billionaire, there is nothing more that I could love. It had everything I needed. The Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Scott is a staple for romance lovers. It's got the spice, it's got the tension, it's got the drama. It's also got the mystery element. I really need to continue the rest of this series because I've heard so many good things that it goes along and it gets even better. Honestly, the first one was 5-star for me. If you haven't read this one and you want to try out romantic suspense, this is definitely the one. You know, I read Lost and Lassoed by Lyla recently and rated it a 5-star, so of course I'm going to give you this one as a recommendation too. Given it cowboys, small town, single parent, I think it's clear single parent is like a god tier trope for me. I loved this one so much. It was so good. It was so bingeable. It was so funny and heartwarming and beautiful, and the spice was definitely spicy. Honestly, just the Rebel Blue Ranch series in itself by Lyla Sage is my own personal recommendation. Now, this one I didn't expect to still be on Kindle Unlimited, but it's actually the Magnolia Park series by Jessa Hastings. This one is so good. It's London high society meets Gossip Girl. It's so dramatic. This is definitely a very problematic relationship style kind of book. Don't go into this expecting to have your perfect romance because that is far from the truth with this one. If you're looking for something that covers real life topics, it's bingeable, it's juicy, there's a lot of drama, and you simply just want to fall for characters and feel emotionally crushed by what they go through, then I definitely recommend this one. Like I say, I'm surprised this one's still out there because it is traditionally published now, and they tend to, once the books are traditionally published, they kind of like hop off the KU front, but this one is so good and I think it's such a good read to read on KU. Now we're touching on the darker romances. We're going to start off with the ones that I think are a bit lighter, ones that you can kind of like dip your toe into, nothing that's too crazy. And we're going to start off with Lily Gold. Lily Gold is the queen of reverse harem, or otherwise known as Why Choose. This is when the girl gets multiple love interests and she doesn't have to pick which one she wants. She gets all of them. Now fictionally, that sounds pretty damn good to me. I've personally read Friends with Benefits and Nanny for the Neighbours and loved both of them so so much. I think I rated both 5-star. They're a super easy read. There is a lot of lightheartedness with these. They're not dark. They just have that more of taboo element with the whole why choose scenario. But overall, they're really easy. They're really fun. I always fall in love with all the characters. I simply cannot choose. And of course, this one probably goes as no surprise. Lights Out by Navessa Allen, also known as the first book in the series, with Caught Up just being released. Caught Up isn't on KU, but the first one, Lights Out, still is, which is why I highly recommend you grab it while you can. This is your super light-hearted, dark stalker romance. If you get the chance to listen to this on audio, I highly recommend. I personally think that's the ultimate way to experience this book. The narration is incredible. The book is so funny in parts. It's a really good way to dip your toe into stalker romance. I personally started there. Now I physically cannot stop reading them. I am so excited for Caught Up. So excited. I actually went book shopping this weekend and I tried to find a copy of Caught Up and it was nowhere, so I'm going to have to place my order online. I know that there is going to be spoiler videos everywhere for Caught Up super soon, so ironically I need to catch up and read it before I see anything that spoils it. The Pucking Wrong Number by C.R. Jane is incredible. I love this. I read this recently, rated it a 4.5. This is your classic dark ice hockey romance. This gets darker as the book goes on, so when you first start you're thinking, Molly, is this really a dark romance? Girl, trust me, it gets dark. This follows our main character who is a part of the hockey team. He's very well known in society. He's very famous and he has a lot of money, and he accidentally texts the wrong person. The girl that he ends up texting actually has a lot of trauma. She's gone through a lot of stuff. The last thing she needs is a guy with a lot of red flags walking into her life, and yet here we are. They form a connection online through messaging one another, and shock horror, he becomes quite literally obsessed with her. This book, like I say, definitely takes a darker turn, especially towards like the 20% at the end of this book. At this point, I was listening to the audio, I was driving, and my jaw was literally on the floor. I did not expect it to go as dark as it did, but it was so good. A very nice surprise, if I do say so myself. We're then going back to another reverse harem, and this is Hate by Tate James. This is again another why choose fiasco, but this has a lot more tense drama action to it. If you're looking for one of those dark romances that has a bit more plot to it than rather just in the smut, then this is definitely one to go for. It's a part of a 4-part series, and it's available on KU. I read the first one this year, rated it a 5-star, and I genuinely loved it so much. I've been putting off the rest of the series, mainly because I'm nervous that it's not going to hit as much as the first one does, but everyone's told me it's so good, and I just need to keep powering through, so I really need to listen to that and get back to it ASAP. Another super spicy author that's available on KU is Sara Cate. Praise is the one book that I've read from her, and it's the first book in the Salacious Players Club, and oh my god. If you're looking for a book that's a lot more taboo, a lot more spice, if you're looking for a book that's just going to get you falling on your knees for the guys, then oh my god, this is the one. Sara Cate is well known for her spice, her taboo, her romance, everything like that. So if that's the kind of book you're looking for, then definitely pick this one up. On the same wavelength of that, Priest by Sierra Simone. I feel like Sara Cate and Sierra Simone are very much in the same bandwidth. They're very spicy authors. They know how to get readers gripped, and their plots are always impeccable. Spicy book set with a priest sounds a bit unholy to me, but something I would happily eat up. If you're looking for anything that is going to emotionally traumatize you, then I recommend Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. This one is so sad. This is my first and only book that I've read so far from Jennifer Hartman, and I'm so excited to read more of her work. Now this one's really hard to explain because I feel like I'm just horrendous with my words. This is why I'm a reader, I'm not a speaker. This is why I'm not a writer. But imagine one day waking up in the basement next to your worst enemy. You've been kidnapped, your worst enemy is right beside you. However, your worst enemy is not just your worst enemy that you came across on the street, it's actually your sister's fiance. And you end up having to do things down there that you wish you would never have to do. This book is traumatic. This book is emotional. This book took me on every single emotional level that I could have physically imagined. It was fantastic. I loved it, and it's available on KU. There is another one that I think it's called The Wrong Heart by Jennifer Hartman. I don't know if that's available on KU, but if it is, then I definitely need to add that to my personal wish list because that one sounds so good, but very traumatizing. Now we're going on to one of the most well-known dark romance authors. I feel like whenever dark romance is mentioned, this author always pops up, and of course that's the Queen, H.D. Carlton. Now of course we have got Haunting and Hunting Adeline, but I feel like that's too obvious. I'm gonna go with Does It Hurt? This one, oh boy. For any of my dark romance girls, if I need to try and convince you to read this within one scene, let me just say, imagine shark-infested waters on a boat where he is providing you with the deed whilst you are headfirst in the water of said shark-infested waters. This this book is juicy. This book is scary at the same time. There's quite a lot of plot to this one, which I really enjoy. Again, I feel like H.D. Carlton's work does really good job at making sure there's plot with the spice. I feel like you'll notice with my reading taste, I don't like the books that are just fully smutty. They need to have a plot line and a storyline to keep me going. This one certainly had that. It was quite creepy at times, but I really enjoyed this one. It's set in a lighthouse in the middle of the ocean. So good. Another one that I read recently is The Possessing Her Duet by Morgan Bridges. This is another stalker trope, but I feel like this one's just a little bit darker than Lights Out. There is 2 parts to this one that follows the same couple, but it's juicy, it's spicy, and I feel like although it's a bit darker, I feel like this one's still a really easy, quick read. I believe both of them are around 250 pages each, so it's actually a very fast read too. The holy grail of dark romances is the Mindfuck series by S.T. Abbey, and I screamed when I found out that this is going to be a TV show. This one follows our main character, Lana, and she ends up being a serial killer due to all the traumatic past that she's had. We then follow our main character, who's also a detective. He is dating Lana, but doesn't realize that she's the serial killer that he's trying to track down. This one is badass. It's so good. It's so twisty. It's a collection of 5 novellas, which are all in one big book, or you can download them individually on Kindle Unlimited. I completely bashed out all of these books 2 years ago in a weekend, and I absolutely loved them. Me and Dan weren't living together at the time. I was actually at his mum's house for the weekend when I read this series. And I just remember staying in bed the entire weekend, and the poor bastard was sat next to me and he had no chance of getting a word out of me. This book was so good. My jaw was on the floor in multiple points. I highly recommend, if you pick any of the recommendations out of this list today, it'd be this one if you haven't read it already. Now, this is more of an indie author that hasn't had as much hype as she deserves, and that is Ellie Kent. The first book is The Prisoner, and this book is so addictive. I read the arc of this one, and I've been lucky to read the other 2 as well in the series so far. I believe her next one's coming out super soon, so this is the perfect time to read them and catch up. But if you like a bit of mafia, you like a bit of dark, you like a quick, easy read, but something that really grips you and that will make you so emotionally traumatized, this one is the one for you. I read The Ritual by Shantel Tessier this year, and this is the first book in the Lord series. I feel like this is another one that is very well loved over on TikTok. If you talk about dark romances, this is typically picked out. This was a really fun, easy read for me. I had my jaw on the floor at the end. I read this as a buddy read, and I found it was a super quick, fast-paced read. It's definitely dark. There's definitely a lot going on. It's very secret society, touching, but in the best way. Loved it. I think following my last video, everyone now knows that I can't express how much I love Neva Ultra and her Perfectly Imperfect series. This is a mafia romance series. There's about 10, I believe, so far. These are so delightful. They're very short. There's like 200 to 250 pages per book. Each one follows a different trope and a different couple. I feel like these are the perfect palette cleansers in between series or other books that you're reading and you just need something quick, easy, fun, but definitely a book that packs a punch. Regardless of how short the books are, Neva always makes sure there's so much drama, plot, spice, everything goes. I find it incredible how she gets so much done in such a short period of time. It is fantastic. I love this series so much. God tier series. I've then got one more recommendation before I give you 2 erotic horrors. This is my current read. This has become my ride or die series. This series has got me in a chokehold, and that is the Edge of Darkness trilogy by Lee Rivers. I'm just about to read the 3rd one, Restitution. I thought Insatiable killed me off. Then I read Voracious and my jaw was on the floor. You're looking for a dark romance series that is genuinely going to make you question everything. It's going to have you so consumed you don't want to read anything else. It's dark, it is gripping, it's intense. There is suspense, there is drama, there is lies, deceit, betrayal. The spice is spicing. You have so much anger on certain characters and you genuinely just don't know where to turn. Then I highly recommend this one. I love the first 2 so much. I so hope the Restitution gives it the ending that it deserves. And then after that, I'll be going on to Psychotic Obsession, which is the book following that. I love it so much. It's so good. I'm currently buddy reading them with my best friend Drew, and honestly, we cannot have enough. And then lastly, to top it all off, I thought I'd give you guys the 2 recommendations of the erotic horrors that I've read this year. Now, this is a bit funny for me because I have never really dipped into erotic horror. It sounds absolutely traumatizing. But honestly, it's almost just like romantic suspense, but on crack. Can I even say that on YouTube? I don't know. But also the horror. Both of these titles are by Harleigh Beck. I feel like she is just the queen when it comes to erotic horrors. So we've got Come Out Wherever You Are and The Sweet Taste of Betrayal. Both of these, I could never have guessed where they were going to go, especially Sweet Taste of Betrayal. That ending, what the actual fuck. Come Out Wherever You Are, the ending is one of those plot twists where I'll always think about it again because it genuinely had me gobsmacked. These books aren't that long. They're probably like 100, 150, and I feel like everyone in their lifetime that likes dark romance needs to at least pick up one Harleigh Beck, because erotic horror is definitely something I would never have tried before now. Now that I've read dark romance and I've dipped my toe into erotic horror, I've realised that yeah, I can get on board with it. It's definitely mind-bending. It's not for the faint-hearted, which is why I only recommend it to my dark romance lovers, but it's definitely one of those spooky, creepy, mind-bending ones. And there's a lot of spice in there, and yeah, I shouldn't enjoy it, but sometimes I just can't help myself. I do. They're all the books that I have read, that I've loved, and that are on Kindle Unlimited that I recommend you read. I've also got a list of books on my Kindle TBR. I thought I'd run through those with you too. Now, it probably goes as no surprise, but because I haven't read these, I can't really give you much of a premise about them. The first one I've got is Passenger Princess by Morgan Elizabeth. I did receive the physical copy of this a while ago, but this is giving steamy, grumpy sunshine. I think it's pageant princess bodyguard energy, and it just sounds like a super fun, easy time. The Windy City series by Liz Tomford. It's a series I want to retry. I read the first one maybe a year and a half ago. I DNF'd it and everyone's just questioned me since. They say the series gets better. I've seen it's on KU, so I need to give that another try. Breaking Haley by IA Dice. I've seen so many good things about that recently, and I actually won a physical of this book in a giveaway a long time ago, but I've just still not read it. And obviously, being a Kindle lover and it being on Kindle Unlimited, I feel like it's just the reason I need to go back onto this book. So I'm gonna pick it up. One of the books that I recently came across was the Sins and Sinners Duet by Harmony West. Oh my god, if you guys like dark romance, go and read the blurb of this and come back to me and tell me what you think of it. It sounds so good, so dark. I think they're again like 200 pages each. I could binge that in a weekend and it sounds so good. It genuinely is on the top of my list right now. Of course, I'm getting through Penelope Douglas' backlist and Corrupt is on there. I really need to read Devil's Night. So many people tell me about it. So it was on Kindle Unlimited. I have got no excuses now. I've only got book one physically. I've got all of them on Kindle Unlimited, so I need to dive into that soon. Older by Jennifer Hartman is a best friend's dad. I can get down with that. It sounds so good. It's very traumatic being a Jennifer Hartman, of course. But again, one that I really want to pick up. I've got two from Sheridan Ann. We've got War Games, which is the Hunger Games meet serial killers. And we've got Pretty Monster, which is a girl that gets obsessed with her stalker. Sounds a bit like me, to be honest. And I really, really like the sound of that one. So I really want to pick those up. We've got Chasing the Wild by Elliot Rose, which is Credence snowed in energy. Meets a cowboy on a ranch, your ex's boyfriend's dad. Sounds like a great time to me. I am very excited for that. It is the first in a series, and the rest of the series is on KU, so I'm happy to dive right in. HD Carlton's Shallow River is on my KU reading list. This sounds really emotional. People have told me this is one of her most traumatic ones. Seeing as I've read a lot more of her backlist, I'm intrigued to see where this one goes. You've then got Blackwood Institute by J. Rose, and this is set in a mental institution. This is a chunky boy, but it's a reverse harem. I really like a clinical setting in like a psychological romantic suspense book. I'm really intrigued for this one and the mental health rep that it brings. Wolfie by Paisley Hope will be my first motorcycle romance, and it's one that is so well loved, so well known, and apparently the spice is spicing, so I'm excited to give that one a go. Leave Me Behind by Kea Moronova is meant to be such a good book. Your dark military romance, and I've heard so many good things. Kea Moronova is actually going to Rare, and I really want to meet her, so of course I'm going to be reading that this month, and I'm so excited. And lastly, we've got Lola King's Beautiful Fiend, which is apparently one of the darkest mafia series that there is out there at the moment, and I love me a dark mafia series, so I would love to know where this ranks in my level of darkness. So there's my romance recommendations, from my fluffy to my dark to my erotic horror recommendations on Kindle Unlimited. I hope this list was helpful. I am so excited to dive into all the ones that are on my TBR, and if you would like a little vlog of me going through some of those dark romance Kindle Unlimited vlog, then let me know. I would definitely really like to do that. If you've read any of these, please let me know your thoughts down below, or which ones you're going to be checking out based on my recommendations today. And as well, if you've got any recommendations that aren't on these lists that I need to know about, let me know in the comments so I can go check them out. Other than that, I hope you've had a lovely week. Enjoy your weekends, and I'll catch you soon. Bye!